It was the 5th weekend in a row that Brenda was spending alone in London. To be fair, Jonathan had been disarmingly upfront at the beginning of their relationship that he would not be the usual kind of boyfriend. Of course, for the first 6 months, this didn't matter at all. Couples often spend the first 6 months of a relationship finding all the things they have in common, and the second 6 months finding all the things they don't. And for Brenda and Jonathan, this was quite firmly the second 6 months. Jonathan's stand-up comedy career was going extremely well. He was now an established headline act for the larger clubs and was making good money. Never mind that his 20-minute set largely consisted of jokes about his relationship with Brenda. The fact was that they were good jokes. 1 or 2 were even great jokes, possibly classics. But still, the irony that Jonathan spent most of his time miles away from Brenda whilst talking about her to a room full of 300 strangers was not lost on her. This weekend was Glasgow, the week before had been Birmingham, and before that had been somewhere, Belfast, maybe Belfast. So another weekend stretching out in front of her. What to do with it? Go swimming? Again? A yoga class, perhaps? Something. She had to do something. Call a friend? All Brenda's friends were in relationships that were still new enough to want to exclude others at the weekend, choosing instead to remain in bed together, drinking kava and talking about where they stood on private education, a good way of disguising the inevitable do you want kids chat. Last weekend had been a particular low point, as Brenda had spent it sitting in her flat, alternating restlessly between playing the piano badly, watching daytime TV, supposedly ironically, and then, in a fit of frustration and self-loathing, going out to purchase all the necessary ingredients for homemade hummus, which she had then abandoned halfway through upon realising dried chickpeas require 24 hours soaking. And who the hell has time to soak chickpeas for 24 hours? Well, Brenda, actually, but that was part of the problem. Jonathan would often tell Brenda to capitalise on the freedom his absences gave her, talking romantically about how missing one another actually brought them closer together and prevented them from getting into a rut. Brenda's suspicion, buried for now but apt to flare up at inappropriate and embarrassing moments such as his friends' birthday parties, was that it was any degree of commitment at all on his part that constituted a so-called rut. For Jonathan was the kind of man who could see entrapment in a 3-course set menu and could barely commit to taking a shit. He always had to be doing something else on the toilet as well as emptying his bowels, lest his colon get too comfortable and try to tie him down. Oh God, what was Brenda going to do?